Hello everyone and welcome to the beautiful Birch House Lakes on the Mallard Lake, where it is another one of Andy May's crash courses. And as always folks, we are doing this in one. Yes, that's right folks, a little bit different today. We are covering summer margin fishing. Now this lake, I've done quite a few videos on this lake this summer because it's just flipping phenomenal. Never fails to impress me. It's one of the best lakes I think I've ever fished. It's just absolutely amazing. But what I want to get across is the difference in margin fishing. When you're faced with a deep margin, now it's not like overly deep. Some of the pegs on here are sort of like up to 3 foot. We've got sort of 25, 26 inches on here. Now it's what I do in these situations where I can't get tight into the bank. I've not got a nice like traditional mud line, if you like, where I can find 18 inches and the fish can't get behind me. So I've done two different rigs. I've done a rig for what you'd need on these kind of venues, a lot lighter than what you'd be fishing on a normal sort of venue where you can get tight into the bank on like a muddy float or equivalent 4/14 carp shell I'm using today. And I want to talk you through the differences in the shotting. But before we do that, I need to prep the swim. Now, bait choice, I'm going to go through bait obviously in a bit, but basically Mega Carp method mix is the only mix that I'd use where I've got 2 foot plus of water and I wanted to feed ground bait because of the big particles in. So what I'm going to do is get a full big pot in first of that, so it's really over wet. I'll show you how I've mixed it. I've done 4 pints of ground bait to 2 pints of water and you get flipping loads of ground bait. It'll last you all session in effect. So I'm just going to go in with this and I'll come back, talk you through the rigs, and obviously I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the bait. So we are over there. Make sure I don't hit Jakey behind me. There's my marker there. I'm just going to be careful how I sneak this in. It's so important that you don't make any commotion whatsoever when you're sneaking that ground bait in. You see how it's just creeped out of that pot. Ew. And the beauty of that, obviously that ground bait, with it being so heavy, the Mega Carp method mix, it's got the bigger particles in it. It's got sort of like, you know, got 4mm pellets up, it's got in it, it's got broken bits of pellets in. It's just a really heavy mix that's going to go straight down to the bottom. The worst sort of ground bait you could put in are like my favourites, you know, Power Scopex, things like that, the Super Crush ones, the pure expander ones, because it's too light, too wafty, you haven't got a clue where it's ending up. Likewise with micros as well, obviously, to get them to a consistency, they're just going to waft up too much. Micros are brilliant for drawing fish into your peg, folks, but the worst thing in the world is they'll just get too many fish in your peg, then you get line bites, foul hookers, and eventually you'll just ruin your swim. The beauty of this Mega Carp method mix, that's going to go straight down to the bottom, so I know that it's in a pile like that on the bottom. The swims on here as well, they've got like rocks and boulders, so it's very important that you're plumbing up right, and again, that's why I'm using the rig that I'm using today and not your traditional sort of like muddy style float. So that bait's going straight down to the bottom. Once you've up one, that disperses into the swim. I can have a try for another one or go in with another big pot. Now it's either going to be a big pot that I'm using or a bigger toss pot. So before we get to that, let me talk you through the difference in these rigs. Now, I've got 2 different rigs. One that I'll 100% I'm going to use, and then one that I would use if it was shallow water. I'm probably not going to use it today, but I just thought I'd flop it out just to show you folks, yeah? Both are on 15s Dura hybrid elastic. You know, you've got to go a little bit heavier than what you'd normally. I mean, it's not overly heavy, but there's quite a few F1s in here, so I don't want to go too heavy, like a 17s or a 19s that you'd use for, you know, your traditional carping. I want to give that option, certainly in deeper water where you're striking into the fish and letting them swim out. There's a few snags on here, and I'm going to say they're the angriest fighting fish in the whole wide world. They're just like off the whatsits because it's spring fed here at Birch House Lakes. So both with the same elastic on. They've both got exactly the same line, 0.20 Akipar main line, which I think is very important, you know, when you're fishing for, you know, sort of like larger fish, larger carps and that. Certainly in the margins, if there's rocks and stones, you need to be going quite heavy main line. And then hook lengths, they've both got 0.16, 4-inch 0.16 to a size 16's hook, and it is an XSH 02, so quite a bit of a stronger one than just the XSH. And I'm going to be fishing like single, double core and things like that, but more about that in a sec. This is the important bit right here, folks, the shotting. So on your traditional sort of muddy style float, should you say, or carp shallow float, where you can get into, you know, bare banking, 18, I'd always say 2 foot and less for this, but ideally sort of 18 inches and less is about the norm. But if you can get it right tight into bare banking, then 2 foot or less will be absolutely bang on. The trouble with using something like that today, where I've actually got to come, I'm going to say, a foot out of the bank, simply because I've got posts there from where, you know, a peg's gone in. I can't get tight enough in, and the fish are going to be creeping round behind that rig. Now that right there is the worst thing in the world for that. If you imagine your line coming straight down, fish will spook off that line because there's too much resistance there. Just seen a tail down there, folks, and that's 25 inches down there, and that's its tail. That's quite a large fish, so I can't wait to get going. So yeah, so the fish are going to spook off that bulk, yeah, so we don't want to be, I'm not going to say you won't get bites, of course you're going to catch fish on it, but you'll see the difference when we use something a lot lighter, you know, something where there's not as much resistance as this other rig. So don't go for that if you can't get tight into the bank, and if you can, by all means use that one, but 2 foot and less. This right here is the rig that I'm going to be using, so 412s Carp XS. Look at the difference in the shotting. So we've got a series of 5 number 9 shots, roughly about 1 inch apart. Just so when it goes through the water, it's a lot more natural. Fish won't necessarily spook off the line because they can't feel that resistance, you know, they're wafting the fins and what have you. So that is the rig that we go for overall, over than, you know, or sort of rather than, you know, sort of traditional muddy style float. So them are the rigs, really, really simple. What I do want to show you is your back shots, and my back shots are normal on that one. I just want to show you the back shots on this float though, because I've only got a short bit of line between my pole tip and float. Look where I've got that back shot. Now the reason I've got that back shot there is because I want to hold my pole tip right against the stanchion of the peg, which is brilliant for getting your marker of it. Look at the flipping state of them. So have you got anything there, Jakey? That is, hopefully you've seen that on the camera. But yeah, having your back shot right close, in fact I might even put that closer, means that when my float is in place, it can't move out further than that where my marker is, because obviously if it does move further out, then, you know, obviously I'm not going to be on my marker, but I don't want it to go any further out than where the camera's situated there, which I've only got sort of like a 2-inch leeway. So it's very important that with your back shots, use them as a guide, yeah, so it can't possibly move out further than that. So that's why I brought them right down. And obviously I'm just going to rest my pole right against that stanchion, and I'm going to catch that carp straight away. Right, but before we do, I'm going to leave that down there. Bait-wise, literally all we've got is just some good old corn, F1 corn. It's got the odd bigger bit in, but it's got some lovely, nice, smaller bits in as well. Single, double corn. Now again, I'm not going to say other baits won't work. Of course, dead reds would work, wormhead, things like that, double worm. Look at the flipping state of that down there. It's all going to work, but I just like corn because of how heavy it is, and it just sits lovely and natural on the bottom. So I think with the amount of fish there, I'm going to try and go in and catch one straight away. Now, I will talk to you about pots as well. I love using pots like that, you know, obviously with holes in. Our largest Preston toss pot, I'll use that, but more so on sort of shallower venues, so I can see exactly what fish are coming in, you know, they give themselves away. Usually when it's a little bit deeper, you can't necessarily see what fish have been in there, so that's why it's good to use a big pot, so you know there's some bait, you know, getting down on the bottom, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try for one of these straight away. I've not put any corn in, you see, I've not put any corn in whatsoever. I'm not going to give it long, but hopefully we'll get one pretty quick. Now, hooking the bait, I'm just going to get a piece of corn and just literally just nick it through the side like that. Now, when I'm fishing, obviously I plumbed up to sort of like just coming down the float there. When I'm fishing, I'll put that into the banking. So say the banking's here, that rig, I want to get it like that. Yeah, so when a fish upends, it's not like feeling the shots or anything like that, and that's why these rigs with the shots through the rig are so much better than fishing on a bulk. Can we see one there? I should have put another pot in. You know what, I'm going to give it a minute, because if they've come in and sort of like mopped a bit of that ground bait up, they'll still be actively searching. So I'm going to give it a minute before I come back and feed it. Now this is the important bit, that's my marker. So I'm going to lay that rigging out like that, wait until my float comes down, like that, and then just have that in there. Here we go. Look at that, sat absolutely perfect there. I might even need to bring my back shots down a little bit more. I might only have them like 1 inch away. But, you know, obviously thick bristle as well, you know, sort of 2.5, 3 mil bristle. Don't let it bother you when you're carp fishing. You know, you need to make sure you're seeing them bites. It really doesn't matter, you know, using a finer bristle. As I say, I'm not going to leave it too long before I come back. But obviously with that corn there, the beauty of using corn, obviously it's a bright yellow bait. It stands out like a sore thumb, especially in fairly clear water. Coloured water, obviously, it's still going to work. It's a nice heavy bait, but that's when I'd favour, like, you know, a bunch of dead reds or worm or something like that. But usually, and I've been doing a lot of coaching on here, obviously doing quite a bit of filming. Corn, there we go. That didn't take long, folks, did it? So obviously that ground bait going in to start with, got the fish there. I'd imagine it, obviously a little bit of bait would have blown out, but the beauty of the Mega Carp method mix is you've got them bigger particles in, so there's always going to be some bait around where you're fishing. But what I'll do, obviously, as soon as I get this one in, I'm going to go in with another pot. I can't physically see anything swirling, but then you wouldn't necessarily see them swirling, you know, if it's a little bit deeper. But what 100% will do is go in with another pot. That was just nice, that's what we want. No commotion, saw that fish come in, nail me bait, and that's it, we're on. Bit good here, isn't it, folks? It is literally just, what a venue. Now, normally with carp fishing, I'd always say unship twice. Oh, there's another tail there. So it's one of them, obviously, with that big pot, we could go in. No, unship too quick, unship too quick, and where are you going? Flippy, I told you there were nuts. Where's he going? He's going and flipping what is going, what? Oh, flip it, he's going to do me. He's going to flipping do me, he is. Jake, are you getting this on? That was nice and calm all the way back. So that's why I'd always say, folks, unship twice. When you carp fishing, that's what I'm going to do. How angry was that then? I told you they're flipping angry. Now I'm always looking at that peg. If I can see another fish there, I'll be a bit, you know, I won't be as tempted to go and put another pot of ground bait in. I did see one there then, so I might. How flipping angry was that then? I might just go straight back in with another pot if you can't see one. What are you doing being so angry? So keep it low. I'll just lift it up and there we go. There's just no need to be that angry. Now at this stage here, obviously it's quite a deep margin. I would say watch your float, you know, on the side of your landing net. Make sure that your top kit's always over the fish. He's not bad to start with, he's 4.5 pound, isn't he? Nice little chunky popular. Ooh. Tuck that under there. Chunky popular. I don't know if I can hold him up because he's a little bit angry. There you are, JK. Ready? Nice and quick. Yeah! Go on the populars. Lovely 4.5 pounder to start with. Where were they on Saturday, Jakey? They're all in blooming Yorpeg, weren't they? So we've just had fish all this weekend, folks. That's where we are. And it didn't go according to plan for me. Right, looking down there, can't see anything. So, get that hook out of the water. I'm going to straight in. But before I do that, folks, very important, put your pole together first. Because if you're anything like me and you're a little bit wobbly when you're putting your pole together with baiting, you're going to create another swim, aren't you? So, let's get that pot on. Very important. The beauty of these new Sonubaits bowls as well is obviously they've got this lid now. When the weather's like it is, obviously it's been so hot. We haven't had rain for flipping ages. The sun will dry your ground bait out. So the beauty of these is they've just got a lid. Literally just scoop that in there, flatten it down, doink, that goes over. Protects your ground bait in a oneer. Oh, how good is this, folks? So, nice and quick. So like we've been putting this bait in now, we might get like a little bit of commotion, might get a few fish competing. But that's what you want sometimes. You want them competing. If there's too many coming in, obviously that's when we can go for that smaller toss pot, you know, well not smaller, but obviously smaller than this, like the Preston larger toss pot with the holes in. So I'm just going to put that there. You see how I'm taking all the time in the world to sneak that bait in. I don't want to be like putting it in with a big noise and commotion or making loads of mess in my peg or anything like that. I know that when I sneak that bait in, the beauty of the ground bait, with it being so heavy, it's just going straight down in the oneer, so it's going to be in like that kind of a pile on the bottom. Right, let's get another bit of corn on. It's one of them with corn, like very particular. It can't be too big and it can't be too small. It's got to be absolutely right. Check them shots. Them shots are all right. Pull that elastic back through and let's go in and wait for the carp. There's one there. Can't see one. Yeah, that's good. So if we can get, oh no, it's hanging me blooming rig. I was going to say, if we can get in, don't get this in, edit this bit out, Jakey. Edit that bit out, thank you. If we can get in before the carp rock up, that's what we want. Because there's no other hook bait there. The only bait there is yours that you've got on the hook. Come on, let's get in there. So very important to run our markers, which is there. Lay that in there. Oh, I'm on a twig. Lay that in there. There we go. Look at that. Come a bit closer in actually. There we go. There we go. Right, I forgot to move them blooming back shots. I should have moved them back shots down a little bit just to bring it in a little bit further. No, we're all right there actually. But you can see what I mean, that we're, you know, a good sort of foot out from the bank. If I was to use that, oh, I could mug that one there. If I was to use that other rig with a bulk on, I just wouldn't have the same effect with the fish. I'll be getting liners, I'll be getting bow waves. Whereas at the minute, see, there's one coming there, that's a slow bite that, I'm not striking at that. I'll just want to see him come in, no commotion whatsoever, get the little dink and that's it, he's on. So there could be small, I mean there's everything, oh, there's one there. There's everything in here, there's roach, there's bream, there's skimmers, odd little bobby crayfish as well, but you know, I don't need to worry about them. So that one, I saw the tail the other side then. I'm very reluctant to put obviously loose offerings in, corn or anything like that. I just literally just want him to pick my bait out. He's blown it into the bank, so let's get that out and in again. There we go. Oh, that was a proper bite then. We will catch an odd F1 as well down here, just because of how they come in. Now, obviously it was a little bit deeper, you know, maybe a few inches deeper than what I'd do. I think that might be foul up, that one, folks. Then what we might do is, or what I would do is put a heavier rig on, yeah, it was definitely foul up, Tim. Definitely foul up. That's the only trouble that you'll have, but in these deeper margins, you know, certainly if there was like rocks and boulders, so you've got to be very careful when you're plumbing up. I'm not going to put any more bait in. I'm just going to straight in with a bit of corn. If it was a little bit deeper, I would use a slightly heavier float, but exactly the same float. The beauty of these floats, with them being a bit longer, they're not as top heavy as the like the muddy style floats, where they're just too wobbly. That's why you don't really want to fish them above, I'm going to say 2 foot, but ideal depth like around 18 inches. And I'm not going to feed again, simply because I know there'll still be some bait there. Because of the beauty of that, oh, that's gone over one's back. The beauty of that ground bait with the bigger particles, and I know there's still going to be some bait there. You can see there's still some fish there, obviously with the tails. I'm just going to wait for one to come in, see that corn and nail it. Such a great way of fishing, folks, absolutely adore it. But it just shows you don't have to go in with a pot every go. It might be that I need to, put like a little pot on, just to calm it down a little bit. That's another liner. But at the minute, just use that big pot. Yeah, we know there's a few fish there. Oh, that was a roach or something like that. I felt that tug on my tip. A bit naughty, wasn't it? But some of these will be F1s, 100%. 100%. There's so many F1s in here as well. That's just drifted a little bit too far out. I'm just going to bring that back a little bit. There we go. You need to pull them blooming back shots down. There we go. That was a nice bite. That was a nice bite. So you can see, it's just, you just need to let it calm down. It's almost like you get too many fish coming off that ball of ground bait. So it might be that I put that bigger toss pot on and try and catch one that way. There's still fish swirling there. So Andrew, you need to unship because these are carp. So we need to come off that one and unship. There we go. Do it proper. Just so that if you brought it, you know, back to 30 metres like I tried that last time, and it suddenly shoots off, you can't follow it. So always unship twice with carp, and then just keep everything nice and low. Just let them do what they want. We're fishing nice and heavy. Just let them do what they want. Keep looking. What I will do this time, I'm going to try it, even though it's a little bit quick. I'm going to try. Obviously, them big pots, you've seen how quick they bring fish into the peg, yeah. But what I'm going to try is that little toss pot on, see if that makes a difference. So then it's almost like we're, you know, sort of method feeder fishing. Little tiny bowl going in, and your hook bait right over it. Look like a nice mirror, this one. Keep everything nice and low until they come up high in the water. Then what you'll see me do is lift that pole high. Oh, he wasn't having it then, was he? He wasn't having it there. If I'd had my extension, I'd have had him. That's Jakey's fault. Jakey's in the way. It's always Jakey's fault. Isn't it, Jakey? It's always your flipping fault, mate. Yeah, Jake is like, shut up, Andrew. Concentrate on the fishing. If I do struggle netting, folks, it's because I don't like to blame injuries, but my tennis elbows come back. That's what I'm saying. So if I'm not netting them like I normally net them, that is the exact reason. It's flipping painful if ever any of you have had it. But anyway, back to the fishing. Keep looking round. I can't see another one there. Concentrate on the fish, Andrew. Jakey's like, Andrew, bring it out more to your right because I can't see it. Flipping heck, they're so angry. I'm not even giving it loads. That's giving itself loads. Ugh. Come on, the fishies. Yeah, so what I'm going to do this time, don't forget to move them back shots. I'm going to move them back shots down a little bit. But I know that all that's cleared out now. Can't see anything there, no commotion, anything like that. It is all cleared out. So I'm going to put toss pot on and see what that does. And almost, you know, give it a couple of minutes, come back, feed it again. It might not be right. We know big pot's right. Gets them in the peg like in a wanna. But it's so good, this style of fishing. I mean, it's only early. I mean, obviously, traditional margin fishing, you won't be down there till like last knockings, you know, sort of 1:30 onwards. But such is the beauty of this lake. It's still really, it's really early. What are we on? Bloody hell. We're on just past 10 o'clock and already snarled up in the margins. Oh, come on, flipping heck. My arm's aching now. They are just off the what's-is. You must have experienced it on spring-fed lakes where the carp... No, that was my tennis elbow, that, folks. Where the carp are just so angry, so crazy, but the beautiful colour. Oh, for goodness sake. Do you want to take over, Jakey? It's one of them. Just take your time in matches, obviously. You catch one, someone else has got to catch two. We've not even got this one yet, Andrew. Shut up. That's a little voice in my head then. Look at him, look at him. Right, now I know which way he's swimming. I'm going to have him this time. He's going to... Oh, there we go. Right, so bring that top kit back. There's a beautiful mirror in. Look at that, right in the top lip. Right, let me show you him, folks. So he's another... He's £5 him. Yeah, he's bigger than that common. Got a nice little chunky belly. And look at him displaying. Ooh, beautiful fish, that. Proper beautiful little mirror. Right, let's get him back. Let's get on again. So this time I'm going to put that bad boy on. Move them back shots down a little bit. I keep saying about that. And there, and then we just put that little toss pot on there, just to see what the reaction is. Because obviously, I've fed them bowls, put them pots in, and there's been fish on them instantly. But it's almost as if there's too many fish coming in. Obviously, we had that foul looker, he fell off. Had a couple of little line bites, so it might be that if we put a little bit in, we might just get 1 or 2 fish coming in and nail them. So we can give it a try. It might be that, you know, we don't draw anything in, but just the fact that putting that big pot in, shipping back and then going in, it's almost as if there's fish there. Whereas obviously this way, you're fishing when the fish rock up, if that makes sense. It makes sense in my head. Jakey's nodding, he knows. So obviously with these toss pots, I've cut the holes out so it releases nice and quick. Overfill, light press down, shut that back up. I say it might be that we're not putting enough in, but we'll give it a go. And then ship out. And again, we just need to be nice and slow. We're putting, oh, there's one there. We need to be nice and slow with putting our bait in. So let's get in position first then. So there's my marker. So we just need to stretch out a little bit more to allow for that pot on me. I almost don't want to feed, but when there's a fish there, I almost don't want to feed, but I'm gonna. So twist that round first, and that just needs to get sneaked in. Yeah, you can see a pause for like, you can just see that creeping out, and then come back to my marker. I'm just going to drag that float over. Oh no! Get off, right? Use what's in the tail then. So I just need to sneak that in and hold it over my ground bait. There, that's it. So if you get that, when you're feeding like we are, what we need to do is come back and feed it again. Because all that bait that you've just put in is gone all over the place, and you need to be fishing in a little tiny pile. I mean, this lends itself obviously better to shallow water. I just wanted to see what the response was going to be first. It might be wrong. It might be that we just use a big pot and just fish it out. You know, we might be able to catch a few fish off the same big pot rather than going in. It's these things that you need to work out first. So let me put that in there. I mean, obviously at the minute it looks as though we don't have to do that because there's fish on that already. You know what I mean? So it might be that we don't have to come back every time like you would do normally. Normally I'd always come back if I'd like spooked a fish or I'd have a bow wave. So if I get it again, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to see what's what. There's obviously a lot of fish coming into the peg there. So it might be that we can get away without it. So if that's the case, then I'm going to take that little toss pot back off and just use a big pot and try and catch 2, 3, 4 fish off the same feed. Even though it's blowing around a lot, obviously with the stones and the rocks down there, that bait will always, you know, be sticking in there. So there'll always be some bait there or thereabouts where I'm fishing, if that makes sense. So it won't bother me. Go on, the fishes. I'd say that's the thing. That'll be the one. I'd say we've just got to fish a big pot out. There's a lot coming in. They're not spooking. Usually with this style of fishing, it's normally instant. You know, you put your little pot in, bait over the top, set your little trap, and that's it, done. But as I say, usually with deeper margins, it's far better using a big pot and fishing it out. But I just wanted to see what the response was. That was a proper bite, that was. I said we'll get the odd F1 coming in and roach and what have you. Don't think that was a carp, that. There we go. There we go. Lovely, innit? So what I'll do now, that little toss pot's not made any difference whatsoever. They say there's too many fish coming in, so what I'll do, I'll take that toss pot off and then go back to big pot. How good is this, folks? If you've never been to Birch House Lakes, what are you playing at? It is just, I say it every time we do a film on here, I wish it was closer. It's so good. Every single lake's like this as well. Obviously the mallard is my favourite, it's just phenomenal. But every single lake's like this. And just take your time when you're shipping back. Yeah, that's why we have that 15 Jura hybrid on. It's nice, forgiving elastic, it's got some beans behind it. It feels a decent fish actually, this one. There are some whoppers in here up to sort of 15, 16 pound, but most of them are sort of like the stamp that you've seen me catch. So let's unship there and keep that pole nice and low. See if we can net this one quicker this time, folks. I've been a bit pungy, haven't I? But it's my tennis elbow, honestly. Give me a break. One big pull, get ready with that net. Keep it low. It feels a bit better. Yeah, that's the way to net them, folks. I told you I could do it, but my flipping arm hurts. Have I told you about my arm? I told you about my arm, Jakey. Jakey's like, Andrew, you've told me all the drive here. He's a nice one. He's a typical edge fishing. He's probably 7.5, might be £8. What's that, rig me beauty? What's that, rig me beauty? And took that under my bottom. Oh, he just clipped my left one then, folks. Oh, that blooming hair. Ooh. Don't know if you ever had a whack in the balls off a carp, but it blooming hurts. Look at that beauty. He's £8 him. Look at that, JK. He's a bit lively. It is a bit lively. Yeah, let's not get him out. Let's not get him out. But you can see he's like probably just getting on for £8 him. Lovely mirror. So that's like what? Best part of 18 to 20 pound we've had in 3 fish in like in no time. So good. Right. There's one down there. I'm not going to feed again. I'm confident there's enough bait down there. Now this is the thing that you've got to, it's a judgment call really. If you think it's right to go in with another pot and get more fish into your peg, then try. But I want to see what the response is going to be. Even though I put them 2 little babby pots in, we've had 2 big pots. There's quite a bit of bait in them big pots. And this in a wanna shows you the beauty of Mega Carp method mix. Them fish aren't moving from there. You know what I mean? From that spot. The actual slope goes right down to like another foot that way, and I'm in sort of like another foot of water, if you like. So it just shows you how effective that heavy ground bait is, the Mega Carp method mix, with the bigger particles in. Let's see if we can catch one just on that corn. I'm still using that bait from before. I can't see why we won't, because there's definitely fish coming in. That's just over its back, that one. Let me lay that in again. There's definitely one there over its back, and they're not even spooking. So I want it to let it come down and then creep in like that. That's what we want. Oh yeah. Come on then. Come on then. I don't mind if it's like, you know, a little bit quieter like this, with no loads of signs. I know that when a fish sees that bait, it's going to have it, because it can't, physically eat any bigger particles. I mean, obviously there's, you know, sort of 3 or 4 mil broken bits of pellets in, but they'll go straight through a 6 mil riddle, no problem. But the main thing they can eat is obviously my hook bait, and that's what I want. I say it every time, it's so important. A big standout hook, well, not big, but a standout hook bait is so important. Really makes a difference. So this is what I want. No commotion. No commotion, no commotion. And all of a sudden, we just want to get that nice fast bite. Got a little bit giddy then, though. I thought it was going to go. But you see that post is perfect there, just holding me float in place. That's what we want. They could be small fish then. They could be small fish. So hold it and then drop it. Yeah, I think they're small fish. So if you do get a few like little babby ones come in, roach or whatever, then obviously it's time for another pot. So what I'll probably do, well, again, it's a judgment call. You know, if I catch another one, that's just creeping back in a little bit. That. If I do catch another one and I see some more swirls, I'm just going to go straight back in my corn again. It's just coming back into the banking now. I can't see me float. Swing it out again and drop. Perfect. Yeah, if I don't see any more swirls, if I hook another one, then I will put another pot in. But don't leave it too long. Yeah, the main thing with edge fishing is you've got to keep them interested. You've got to be quite aggressive at times to keep them fish in your swim. I'm convinced now if I put another pot in, I'm just a bit past my marker there, if I put another pot in, we'll get like lots of fish coming in. Which is great, but you almost don't want loads there. That was a proper bite, that. Yeah, I'm convinced some of these will be F1s, but they're probably blooming carp. Probably are carp. No mistaking them proper bites. Nice and quick. Still fish around there. Just waiting for them to pick my corn out, and away we go. Go on the carps. Yeah, plenty of venues I've been to over the country where, you know, they're like this. You can't get tight into the banking, certainly in the edges. So it's worth, you know, trying this way of fishing. You know, heavier mix, heavier ground bait mix, and obviously a lighter float with your shot spread. I think it's the shot spread that makes the difference rather than having it in a bulk. Oh, that was a proper bite. I was a bit slow on that one. We're going in again. I'm just going to give it another 40 seconds. You can see the difference there though, there's not as many fish coming in, so it might be that we get, you know, one come in now, see that bait and nail it. But what would happen, I'll put another pot in, I'll definitely get them back nice and quick. I see a swirl sort of a metre behind, towards me, so you might swim that way. Just going to leave it there for a sec. And see what happens. Hopefully, yeah, this one might take it here. There's one coming in on its own. He's going to have it in. Go on. I can hear the boozards. Don't look, Andrew. Don't look, Andrew. Oh, I want to look at the boozards. Andrew, don't look. I'm not going to look. There's one that's like swimming around. Obviously, that's where, you know, a little bit of bait's just drifted down this way a little bit. There he is. Come on. He's having it. Come on then. Come on. Oh, we missed him. Got to be a roach and it's still there. Let's see if we can catch him. Yeah, that was a roach sat on the drop. Right, I'm going to come back and put some more bait in. You saw that like rig move out then. So I'm going to come back, put another big pot in, and it'll probably be a little bit carnage for a bit because there's a lot there. So open that out, get that bait in. Yeah, there's another swirl there. So we probably could have got away until we caught that fish, but I just want to show you the difference. We're putting some bait in. How quickly we get them fish back in. Go on the boozards. Got my marker. Take your time when you're putting that bait in, yeah? Make sure it just creeps in. Don't think it'll be long, so let's be nice and quick. That corn's still alright. It was only just nicked. Put another bit of corn on. Wouldn't unhard him. There we go. Right, nice and quick, Andrew. Nice and quick, Andrew. Put it straight in over that ground bait. There we go, that's your marker. Just going to get out that way, look at that. Hopefully when I watch that corn down. Oof, something had it on the drop then. Could be another roach. So there's so many in. And drop. Come on. Look at one marker, yeah, one marker. Yeah, some of these are roach, I think, now. And then drop. Go on, Abusards. Right, come on. That's slow, that. I'm not interested in them. That's just blowing it in a little bit. Trying to, my hardest to keep it on my marker. There we go. That's it. Just waiting for that nice fast dink. Come on. There's fish round there. Come on. But the pole keeps sliding up that post. Oh, 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 oh. That's just blowing it into the bank a little bit. Let me move it out. It's so important that you're checking your rig. Certainly on rigs like this, who are a little bit lighter. We like, you know, more positive rigs where they bulk down. You don't have to do this as often, but when you're on a lighter rig, it's got to make sure that you're... No, that's not right. You just got to make sure that you're on your marker all the time. Make sure it's falling through nice and smooth. There we go. Oh, oh, oh. He's drifted it out. Just going to move him back in. It's all about reading what's going on under the water as well. What's going on in your peg. Come on. Come on, I've got to have that now. Go on, a corn. Obviously match can, you know, pleasure fishing, you know, you don't have to go as far, obviously. You know, if you can get this, you know, on a top kit, something like that. But usually match conditions, the fish will be that little bit further away from you, just because of the commotion, everything like that. You know, everyone competing for them fish. Whereas if I was, you know, pleasure fishing, I'd just be on a blooming top kit here. And also the other thing about match fishing as well, you'd have both sides on the go. There we go, there's another one. Yeah, you'd have both sides on the go. You wouldn't just choose one side. But what you do normally find is one side's always better than the other. Obviously, me being right-handed, I'm going the wrong side here, folks, because Jakey says, Andrew, go that other side. I want to be going that way, yeah, being right-handed. This is one for all you left-handers, this one. But it is what it is. You'll always find one side's better than the other. Oh, it's so good, isn't it? So you saw how, like, positive, there's no mistake in the proper bite. Saw how positive that one was. It's another decent fish. We'll launch it twice. Still see, yeah, still a swirl there, so I'll definitely catch another one off that feed. But that, there's not really much to it other than that. It's just keeping an eye. And you saw what happened when we put the little toss pot on, which I thought would be right. It wasn't right. It's obvious that we need to put quite a bit of bait in for these big fish, and then obviously fish it out, kind of thing. We knew it wasn't right. We knew it wasn't right, obviously. Then we had to put some more bait in because I had that little dink on the drop, which would have been a roach. But as soon as I put a big pot in, instantly brings them fish back. And there's still another one there to be caught. He's another big one. So he's probably had, so we've had 20 pound in free fish. He's another, he's definitely 5 pound. He'll probably be 6 pound him. It's mad how quickly he can do a weight. Look at that, right in the top lip as well. Let me show you him because I've shown you everyone, but he's still a bit lively. But again, it just goes to show how quick, other than that blooming second one, it made me look like a DICK. Just shows you how quickly you can do a weight of fish and how quickly you can bring them in. He's not happy as well, Jakey. I'm just going to pop his head out. There we go. Another 5 or 6 pounder. And that, folks, I think we've done it all, haven't we? There's nothing really much more to go through than that. I suppose main things to consider is keeping, you've seen what happened, keeping an eye on what the fish are doing. So that first bit when we put that pot of ground bait in, when I was talking through the rigs, there was instantly fish coming into it, so I knew, well, obviously they were looking for that quick response. We went over it without feeding, we caught one instantly. Then we tried it again, didn't we have a foul hook? I think we had a foul hook and then caught one, so we knew it wasn't right. So we went in with a big pot, instantly brought fish back in, you know, 4 or 5 carp there, caught another one. And that's when I thought, like, using a toss pot would be good, but you saw it was completely the wrong thing to do. Not enough bait going in, not enough bait going down to the bottom. It'd probably been nailed before it got down to the bottom, and the trap wasn't set right. So going back to a big pot, catching them fish that are there first, swirling, and then going back to a big pot, you've seen that there in the one. Instantly it draws them fish back. So I'll probably be able to definitely go and catch another one now with them swirling, maybe another 2. It's just a judgment call. Keep an eye on what's going on in your peg. Obviously, if it's a little bit deeper, then you're using obviously your float for a sign, and that's the beauty of them kind of floats. You're not going to spook the fish. If you're getting the little dinks, you know there's fish there. If you're not getting any little dinks, then obviously you know you need to feed it again. But certainly try and avoid them like muddy style floats, you know, the big bulbous body ones, because it'd be like this all the time. They'd spook off. You've seen there, we've not had any spook out of the peg. Everything's coming nice and confident. Yeah, we've had the odd little babby line bite and we foul up one, I think, but you know, it's part of the course when there's a lot of fish coming into the peg. Almost when you're match fishing, you don't get that because everyone's competing for them fish. You get them coming in nice and confident, but it's flipping amazing, isn't it? I hope you've enjoyed that crash course, folks, because I've absolutely flipping loved it. I'm going to do a lap of the lake now because I am absolutely roasting. But again, I'm going to say it again, if you've never been to Birch House Lakes, you've got to come and give it a go. It's simply a phenomenal, stunning fishery. But as always, please, please, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and that'll tell you when we're putting out these fantastic videos. Now, leave me alone. I'm going to catch me some more down there. And then I think it's time to go to the pub, Jakey, yeah? Go on, a pub. Hey!